Hello, Chelsea fans. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling about Enzo Maresca? Do you think his tactics are working? What are your thoughts on Enzo Maresca? So that's what we'll be talking about today. Enzo Maresca's tactics. Is it working? Is it working? For me, I feel so far so good. It's working nicely. But before I go into whether it's working, what I feel about the tactics so far, what I feel about how the team has been playing so far, but I'll just go right to the beginning. At first, when they said Enzo Maresca was likely to be the coach or the head coach of, Chelsea, I watched what they call now. I watched the coach's voice. Yeah, that's usually a program on YouTube on the YouTube channel where you see coaches talk about their tactics, their style of play, their philosophy. And so I watched what he said about his style of play, wanting to play with those two advanced ends, you know, a lone six that would help the defense and help the attack as well with a vetting fullback, either the left or the right vetting fullback. So for me, I think that's what attracted me to him. And then when they said he had done a lot of research on the Chelsea players, he'd watched them, he'd watch their games, spent hours and weeks watching their games, and was cued in on every detail about the players. So I was keen to see, what he was all about, what he was going to do when he came in. And then I've seen him go with that. I saw him go with the advanced eight, so two tens behind the striker in the preseason games, especially the Club America game. And for me, that's one thing that's still missing that I want to see being a Oliver Twist at the moment because I want more. I want to see more attacking display. I know it's always good to defend, always good to have very good defense, but I think the way this team is set up right now is built for attacking football. That's the way I look at it. I don't know what your thoughts are on that issue. For me, I feel this team is built to attack. But so far, so good. The team is working. His tactic is working. And for me, this sort of puts to bed all these excuses that people usually would bring, that people usually would say. They would go on to say a coach needs five 5 years, a coach needs 2 years, a coach needs 3 seasons, before he can get his tactics implemented. He can get the players to buy in. You know, Maresca has just been there barely how many months, and you can already see his impact on the team. And you can already see the players, while they're not perfect, while they're not executing his style of play perfectly, they are, executing it with great level of success. And we're seeing it on the pitch. When we had Potter who said, "Oh, you need time, you need 1 season, you need 2 seasons." You had Pochettino, "Oh, you need 2 seasons, you need more time," and all that stuff. Oh, this player is not good, that player is not good. Chelsea fans are thinking that they have good players when they don't. But he's still using the same players. It's Noni Madrid is still he's using. He's still using Cole Palmer. He's still using Mikhailo Modric. He's still using Cucurella. Cucurella is has been playing very, very well. So he's still using all these players. He's still using the same players that people were complaining about. They were not good enough. That Pochettino wasn't the problem, but the problem was actually, the players was actually clearly Capito was actually Blue Co, Ekbali, Todd Bowley, refusing to place blame at the feet of Pochettino. Now you can see it. His tactics for me is indeed working. But for me, I also feel that we should find a way to get Nkunku more involved in the play, to have more game time, in my opinion. In my opinion, I feel Nkunku should have more game time. I wonder what your thoughts are on that bit. And Sanchez has come good so far, so good. You can only judge him based on what you know on his performances. You can say it's against West Ham. You can say it's against Bournemouth. But those games, he didn't perform that great last season. But he's been good this season. He's been great this season. And right now, he seems to be the number one, whatever Enzo Maresca, is feeding him or has told him, whatever way he's used to inspire, motivate him, is doing wonders. So kudos to him. So he's performing well. So that end of things is working well. Because I was one thing I was skeptical about was his on the ball, how he is on the ball. Last season, Robert Sanchez was always tentative on the ball. He would always waste too much time on the ball. He always make that risky pass. He would always make a risky pass and would be unable to execute that pass and therefore put the team, in a tight spot. But this season is all but different. It's all but different this season, and for good. For good, I tell you, for good, for good, for good. And then you've seen the likes of Malo Gusto, you've seen the likes of Cucurella. But one thing for me that I want to talk about with respect to Gusto, I know he's inverting, he's doing his best to invert and he's looking this and there. But I think Chelsea were missing out on his overlapping ability, on his ability to overlap and go on the other side, of the fullback, of the winger. So for me, that's one thing. While he's doing the inverting well, I still think would have Chelsea would be better served with him overlapping rather than inverting. And then talking about Noni Madueke, I think Noni Madueke, for whatever reason, he's the one everyone loves to bash. He's the one everyone loves to criticize. When Perineto was signed, oh, everyone wanted him. It was like, oh, we signed Perineto, Noni Madueke should be gone. But what ended up happening was that Noni Madueke, of all the wingers that Chelsea has, he is the I would say he is the most. He has adapted quickly. He has adapted the quickest of all the wingers to what Enzo Maresca wants from his players. So whether you rate him, you don't rate him, you like him, you don't like him, you don't like his fashion sense because sometimes they see the way these young players dress, they see the way they look, they want to be flamboyant, and then people use that as a metric to judge them. And for me, that's just not fair because footballers get up to a lot of crazy stuff. Celebrities, popular people get up to a lot of crazy and weird stuff. So being flamboyantly dressed is not is not the craziest thing you've ever seen. So people like to get on the back of Noni Madueke. But I think he's been very, very good this season. And he understands what Enzo Maresca wants because the Enzo Maresca system is you have your two wingers wide, and when your position comes to press, the passes go quickly between the lines and goes behind the fullback and it goes to the winger. And then the winger has the opportunity to have that 1v1 opportunity versus the fullback. And Madueke has been doing this very, very well. He has been doing this very, very well. You know. So, and one thing I have to say about the Enzo Maresca system again is people see the passing, they see the passes completed, they see the possession, and they just think, oh, it's another tiki-taka style of play. Some people are even shocked that Chelsea score a lot of goals from counter-attacking football. You know, for me, it's not shocking because I've listened to him talk and I've got a good understanding of what he wants to do. He likes to hold possession, dominate the play, dominate possession in the opponent's half when the opponent is, defending deep in their own half. But if the opposing team decides to attack, decides to press, decides to press high up, then he would go quick passes behind the fullback. I think you need to watch the coach's voices, his video on coach's voices on YouTube. You need to watch it, and then you get a better appreciation of what Enzo Maresca's system is all about. And I think it's working really, really well. And what he's done with Nicholas Jackson has been very, very good, has been phenomenal. He's been scoring goals because you have those passes coming through. And one thing Enzo Maresca has got down to a T that the likes of Pochettino didn't quite get, the likes of Potter didn't quite get, was this simple thing: play players in their rightful position. Play players in their rightful position. Don't muck about. Don't try to twist things. Don't play a holding midfielder as a right back. Don't play a centre back as a left back. Don't play a winger as a number 10. Just play these players in their rightful positions. And if a player is not performing in that position that is meant to be his favorite position, then he would know that he's not cutting it. And when you eventually bench that player, when you see that player on the bench, the player would, within himself, understand that yeah, I've not been up to scratch, so I have nothing to complain about. So unlike what Pochettino was doing, playing Colwill, at left back, and then play and having the actual left back left backs on the bench, he's coming to Colwill. You're a prodigious talent at centre back. You play at centre back. You are Wesley Fofana or you and Tosin Adarabioyo. Both of you play in the centre back position. It might seem simple, but that's what it is. You can see Colwill coming into his own. You can see Tosin Fofana coming into his own. Although he still does this where sometimes he plays the Sassy at right back. For me, that's one critique I have about Enzo Maresca. There's no need to play the Sassy at right back. If you have Josh Archipong, you may say he's an academy player. Give him an opportunity because you have two right backs. You have Rhys James, you have Malo Gusto. And if they're not fit, if they're injured, if they're tired or suspended, then that gives you an opportunity to play a prodigious academy talent like Josh Archipong. And we came on against Barrow, and you could see how he was playing. You could see that though he wasn't all too perfect because it's a few minutes that he had to play about 15 minutes about, he was still very, very good. And therefore, every now and again, I feel he should be given the opportunity. If there's an injury, if there's a suspension, or if a player just has fatigue, you need to give these players game time. And I'm happy he actually gave them game time because we saw last season Pochettino would have the likes of David Washington on the bench, and even when the team would be winning 4-0, 5-0, he wouldn't make the substitution to bring those players on. So nice to see that Enzo Maresca is actually giving these players game time. So for me, that's thumbs up for Enzo Maresca in that regard. Now, and look at the way he chooses to use the striker. He uses the striker in the withdrawn role sometimes, to drop into the midfield to increase the numbers in the midfield, and then sometimes drop out wide. And this is something people are saying, oh, Victor Osimhen wouldn't be able to do. Victor Osimhen wouldn't be able to, play the sort of thing that Enzo Maresca wants. But Nicholas Jackson is doing it. Victor Osimhen can actually do it. Did you see his assist last time against for Galatasaray? Amazing assist. So I wonder what your thoughts are on Enzo Maresca so far. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are. And do you want him to actually, advance to play this 4-3-3 with two advanced 8, or still stick with this 4-3-3, but having the central midfielders, having two central midfielders, and then having Cole Palmer as a 10. Now, speaking about Cole Palmer is an actual 10. I don't know why people are acting surprised, people are acting shocked. Oh, he's playing Cole Palmer as a 10. That is his favorite position. Cole Palmer as a winger, he struggles. Cole Palmer can only play as a winger when you're playing possession-based football, when you want to control possession. You're not looking to exploit the width. You're not looking to exploit, you're not looking for your wingers to go to the byline and put balls into the box. You're not looking for your wingers to go 1v1 versus a fullback. When you want your wingers to cut into the center, then Cole Palmer suits that 100%. But otherwise, Cole Palmer is suited as a number 10. He is a number 10. He is a number 10. So you can see how he's playing very well as a number 10. Nani Madueke is a winger. Let him play on the wings. Mikhailo Modric, Jadon Sancho play on the left wing as well. Palmer as a 10, you can see the link up between himself and Nicholas Jackson. Because one thing, you may have all the technique in the world, but if you don't have pace, playing on the wings would be a struggle, especially in the Premier League. Because even I don't want to use this word, but even the weakest, the most mid, fullback has pace. Even the fullback, you look and say, oh, I don't quite rate this one. He has pace. So you don't want to have someone like Palmer with his lack of pace playing on the wings. He's going to struggle. You know he's the most creative player on the team, so you need him to be in that central position so the attack flows through him. And then we go to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez playing as a six. Everyone was saying, no, he's an eight. He's this, he's that. Because sometimes people don't want to be wrong. They like to argue or support whatever is on display. When Pochettino was playing Enzo Fernandez wide on the left, playing him as a 10, people were jumping on it, people were shouting, people were celebrating it. Oh, yeah, Enzo is not a six, he's an eight. He should be playing more forward. No, he's a six. If you're playing in a possession dominant team like Chelsea, like the kind of team Enzo Maresca wants to build, your six sometimes will be where the eight is. The number six, the defensive midfielder or deep line playmaker, would just stand in front of the back four. You will see him pushing forward, being part of the attack, help being part of the build up, of the attack. But his primary position will be in front of the back four. So, that's one thing that Enzo Maresca has been able to do. Say, okay, this is your position, you stay there, you play there. Palmer, you play the 10. No mucking about, no moving around. And that's why you see the team is playing well. I'm not saying the team is perfect, but when you play quality, talented players in their favored position, that guarantees you a high level of wins. You may not win trophies, you may not win titles, but it will get you playing well. There are games that you just win by virtue of the quality of players you have. And that's one thing that the likes of Pochettino got wrong, the likes of Potter got wrong. We can all remember when Potter decided that it was wise to play, Kai Havertz as a number 9. Even when you had Dash Fofana on the bench, Potter decided that no, I'm not going to play any striker there. I'll play Kai Havertz there. Even if Kai Havertz struggled game after game after game, he was still playing him in that number 9 role, and people were cheering, were supporting it, even if it wasn't working. And that's one thing Enzo Maresca has done. He's kept everything simple. I know he looks at every detail, but he's kept everything simple. Wingers, you play on the wing. The central midfielders, you play there. Colwill, you're a centre back, with a left back. You're not going to play left back. I'll play you in that centre back role. So for me, that's why I say his tactics is working. And I've mentioned this before, because a lot of times people like to say, oh, the coach needs time, the manager needs time, give him time, give him 10 games, give him 20 games, give him 30 games, give him a whole season. He needs 4 or 5 windows to be able to implement his style of football. Now, I would love Chelsea to finish fourth at the list, but Chelsea could finish fifth. It's possible that Chelsea could finish fifth. But if Chelsea continues to play well, play the way they've been playing, they will win lots of games. What you can only ask, like for me, I said, I want Chelsea to be the best of the rest. Now you can say Manchester United, that the number one side. I mean, Manchester City, that the number one side, top of the pile, beautiful. Arsenal, the next team after that. Okay, you can say Liverpool is the third best team. Then from that fourth spot downwards, I want Chelsea to actually dominate. You know. Hi, Sean. You're welcome.
Hi, Ugo. What's
Yeah.
up?
How you doing?
I'm very fine. Let me just quickly apologize for coming late to the stream. Apparently, a lot of factors caused this, but I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So, first off, I just wanted to say, what are your thoughts on Enzo Maresca generally? Or let's start from the beginning. What were your thoughts when you heard that Chelsea were looking to appoint Enzo Maresca as the new head coach of Chelsea?
Okay. It was really very interesting because it came a period that the news of multiple coaches being like I think we had a three-man shortlist at the time of McKenna, the Ipswich manager, Enzo, and I think a very surprising one of Thomas Frank
Hmm.
of Brentford. Yeah, that was surprising. So when that list really came out, I actually started um, looking into most of them. I won't say I really looked into Thomas Frank, to be honest, but I looked into Enzo and looked into McKenna. I actually went to look into McKenna first, but I saw a lot of interesting things because I was asking myself, what's interesting about Enzo that we want to get him for? So, but I looked into him. I saw a lot of interesting things. I like the way his Leicester team played. I I I really, in fact, when I started looking into Enzo, I abandoned um, McKenna's team because
Hmm.
I really liked the way. And I saw why we looked into him immediately. I saw why we were trying to get him, apart from the pep and the study and all of that. That the style of play is definitely what we want to play.
Yeah. So for me, at first I watched this. I'm sure you must have seen it yourself. These coaches' voices. The coaches' voice or coach voices. I think it's a channel on YouTube as well. So I watched it. I was just watching it randomly one day, and then I saw Enzo Maresca was talking about his formation that he loves to play with two advanced eights or two tens behind the striker, and then inverting the fullback and all that. So I was really intrigued by his sort of philosophy and style of play. And then this rumor came up, and I said, okay, because none of the coaches there are a lock. Like I can say, okay, this coach is a 100% guarantee. He's going to, you know, so you can't say any player, any coach, any of the candidates were a lock. So I said, okay, let's um let's go as a Maresca because I was more intrigued with his style of play. So Sheung has fallen off. Hopefully he will come back on pretty soon. So let's wait for him. So um Enzo Maresca. So for me, I watched the coach's voices. I saw his style of play. I think I was in. Okay, he's back on. Back.
I'm sorry, did it cut off?
Oh, sorry. So I guess it was network or something.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
probably sure it was. I just noticed myself out of it.
Oh,
So I
okay.
don't know where you stopped hearing me.
Yeah. Okay. What I was saying is that for me, I watched the coach's voice, and then I saw him talking about his style of play, his philosophy, wanting to play with two tens and inverting a fullback, to defend against
Yeah,
transition and things like that. And then, so when Chelsea were linked to him, I looked at all the coaches. I said, no one is actually a lock. No one is actually a guarantee to give you titles or anything like that. So why not go
yeah.
with this guy? So that was who I had in my mind. And then the club went for him and got Enzo Maresca as the coach. So far so good. So, but what I want to ask is how what do you think about his tactics so far? Do you think it's been working? I know that's an odd question to ask, given that the team has been playing fairly decently. Yesterday won against Barrow, 5 goals to nil. So, what do you think about his tactics overall? Like, do you think it's working completely, or it's just because the players are fairly decent?
Um, that's that. Funny enough, like that's actually a good question because um, the team is actually doing well right now. That's
Mhm.
good for us. But I won't say we are at, like Arsenal fans say, is it phase three Ateta also. We are right where Enzo wants us to be. If you even notice what Enzo says in his press conferences, he says we're actually ahead of where we're meant to be. But for him, it's still not where we're meant to be because, yeah, of course, that would take more than 5 games to be able to, and 5 weeks per se to be able to achieve that. So he has also preached about time, not too much about oh we need time to be able to show anything. he just preaches that we need time to be at the best place he thinks we can be. So right now, I think we still have issues um, with we have not yet put in a totally. I won't say we're putting a totally dominant performance yet.
Yeah. For me, it's more like the style of play he's always wanted to play, and what he did at Leicester, and then what he was talking about in that video. That's what I've been waiting on to see, because I saw a bit of it in preseason. Haven't seen it in the Premier League at least. That is playing with those 2 10s. So I was thinking maybe he will go with Nkunku and Palmer as the 2 10s behind, maybe a Jackson, and we haven't seen that. But I think the regular 4-3-3 is playing, that has been working, has been working well so far. But I just want to see that formation, because for me, I feel is gonna again. So hopefully he will be okay. He's back with us now.
Yeah, but I think you heard me at the end.
Yeah, I heard you at the end. I heard you at the end. Yeah. So what I don't know what I heard what I was saying, but what I was saying is that for me, I just wanted to see that 2 10s, that from see the 2 10s behind the striker, because I haven't seen that in the Premier League. So that's something I'm intrigued to see how that would really, how that would really work. So
Yeah, but you know something, yeah.
yeah.
So for that 2 10s, it will depend on the team because, for example, right now Enzo is actually acting as the second 10, but Enzo is a bit more conservative. It's a bit more different because, let's say, at Leicester, it was Ndidi that was doing all of that. It
Mm-hmm.
was indeed that was yes, it was indeed that was actually pushing up more and all of that. Remember when Enzo said he wants a midfielder that can be able to attack, be an attacking midfielder when we're attacking, and be a defensive midfielder when we're defending.
Yeah.
So that's what that midfielder is, and that's what Enzo is trying to do. So, but is I would say Enzo is not yet there in terms of on fully mastering or understanding what Maresca wants from that time because that's like one of the hardest roles to play in the system because when the team is attack, you have to know where to be. When the team is defending, you have to also know where to be. Like that's why KDH, Kieran Disbury Hall, that's why he was meant to be so important, or he maybe is still important in that sense of knowing where the manager wants him to be as that midfielder when you're attacking and when we're defending. So when we're attacking, he's meant to be in that left half space, Enzo. And in the right half space, you now have Palmer. That's when it now looks like 2 10s. You get then behind that's 2 10s just beside Jackson. Then you now have the two wingers, whether it's Sancho, Noni, or Neto, Mudrik. So, but the thing is that you won't see that much if the team that we're playing against isn't, let's say, if we are not pinning the team back, if you get me, if we're not pinning the opposition team back enough, you won't see them stay there too much because they will most likely drop out. And there's this thing Enzo tends do. If you notice that they try to drop out outside the block of the opposition, that they kind of drift wide to receive the ball. If you notice Enzo doing it sometimes, you drift wide. Palmer does it too, drifts wide. So that's why it's playing the system, but sometimes it might not look like it. So that double 10 is actually there. So I hope we see it more in like the next few games, so that. But if you want two real 10s, or maybe Nkunku and Palmer, maybe you're waiting for a lower level team where we don't really face much counter attacks because if Nkunku plays there, Nkunku will have to drop into the pivots with Caicedo, and that's not really Nkunku's
you
game.
struggle. You struggle to play defensively like that. So now I want to ask you a question now, because Lavia, wasn't really sure about Lavia because I know he was very good for when he was at Southampton, and then he came to Chelsea, and then he was just injured more often than not. Was always on the sort of treatment table, and then he came back, got some fitness, started playing, played I think the Man City game. He looked to be, for me, he looked to have the best qualities of Caicedo and Fernandez and Enzo Fernandez. So I'm just thinking, if Lavia is fully fit, do you think he would keep one of these players on the bench? That is either Caicedo or Enzo Fernandez. Or let me ask you this way: if you have a fit Lavia, would you put him in place of any of those other central midfielders?
Ooh, a fully fit Lavia.
Yeah.
I wanted to say earlier in the season that a fully fit Lavia, at the form he was, could bench Caicedo at the way he started the season. Let's say the Caicedo that played against Man City,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lavia that plays against Man City, you would definitely say, okay, the Lavia against Man City should continue the season so far. But Caicedo has doubled or tripled his performances since then, if you have noticed. Um, Caicedo against Bournemouth, Caicedo against West Ham. That's one of the best versions of Caicedo we have actually seen at Chelsea, as well as he has been playing for the past, I think, close to 12 months, close to 10 months since December, and that period. Like after his debut, it was really actually mostly good. If we actually think about it and look at his performances, but it has actually gone up a level. He looks defensively better. He looks faster to get into tackles. If you notice, he looks quicker on the ground. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
he can get into tackles faster. It looks like he can and body players better. And his strength is much much better. So you're now wondering, can Lavia com- can Lavia can he compete with that at the moment? Because as well, Lavia is good and he has improved defensively. Because one of the questions of Lavia for some time was, yes, he can do defensive and attacking work, but of maybe of yeah, we know how good he is on the ball, how press resistant he is, that he can't really be pressed easily. But can he really? Is he better than Caicedo defensively? And if I see the Caicedo now, I'm actually thinking that he isn't right now. Right now, he isn't better than Caicedo defensively, but he's our best sitter. There's this argument that Caicedo is not really a DM. He's like an eight that can defend. So if you want a DM, you have your Lavia. But if you want, if Caicedo is doing so much now to not the job, so it's harder for me now. Before I would have said Lavia, but for now, Caicedo is actually doing so well. So the thing about Enzo is that I think Caicedo can also try to do what Enzo is doing, but it's like the manager wants to make players specialize for now. So that's why he's keeping that his core of 11, 12, 13 players. That is just, it's not really changing much so that you can learn your role and you can deliver. So I think for now, Lavia can alternate between Caicedo, can come in for Caicedo when he can, because I don't think Caicedo is really dropping in and Lavia starting consecutively. So let's say it's a smaller team, Lavia can come in at least build up himself. Lavia has not been around for a while, like a year. So Lavia doesn't even need to play so many games at this point in time. So if that can happen, then I think we can be able to build a healthy squad, and we can help the rotation in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah. Okay. That's a solid answer. Although something I was just thinking about, I was just thinking, what if Enzo was bought for maybe 50 million pounds, right? And Lavia will go for 50 million pounds. Based on what you've seen, who would you rather have to be beside Caicedo? Since from what you said, Caicedo is like the number one person to be in that central midfield. So if Lavia and Enzo Fernandez were bought for the same or similar amount of money, maybe let's say Enzo Fernandez was 55 million and then um, Lavia was 50 million, who would you look at to say, okay, should start next to Caicedo?
So if it's based on the amount of money, obviously Enzo hasn't yet. Enzo has shown his flashes of what he can do, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, he has not yet, for some reason, and also the reason of the club. We have been unstable in the last 18 to
Yeah.
2 years. We have been very unstable. Enzo has played under how many managers that see him differently, and you won't say this is like his uh, this is what he plays at Argentina. You won't say that like this is how he plays at Argentina here currently. So it's like a Gundogan role that Maresca wants him to do, and it's a bit different, a bit new to him. So he will have to take time to adapt. So, but at this moment, Labia definitely will enter before Enzo. But the thing is that you can say that, but the question is, how does the manager want to play? How does the manager want to play Labia and Caicedo? So far, the evidence we have is that the manager wants to play Labia the same way as Caicedo, except do you remember against Bournemouth that Cucurella played as a
Yeah, it was
in the
inverting
left
the
half,
midfield.
no, not even, yeah, midfield, but even more advanced than midfield, like the 10, almost like the 10 that I was expecting as a 10. So the
Yeah.
way, if Lavia and Caicedo can play together, if they are starting together, I suspect Enzo will use a fullback that can be able to do that. Either take Cucurella from left back to that position, or whether it's Gusto too. Gusto can easily do that as well,
Yeah.
to play the same role in the other side. So that will be what will happen if um Caicedo and Lavia plays together. So that's the thing about Enzo that I like that was Maresca. I mean. That's the thing about him, that the lineup that we have doesn't matter the lineup. It is just about how to put the profiles together. Okay, if Enzo isn't starting now, another player is starting that plays deeper. Okay, I'll find another player that will be able to compensate as the 8 or 10 that we want. Okay, another player will play that role. Then yesterday we we saw that Gusto went off. Chile played the same role on the other side as Gusto, as that almost midfield diamond on the left of the diamond. Chile played on the left. Gusto played on the right of the diamond. So that's Maresca, and it does it based on the opposition team. How do they attack? How do they defend? How we attack? If a team is attacking, if a team is defending, I guess the Barrow defended in a 5-3-2, five defenders, right?
Yeah.
Three midfielders and two attackers. So Enzo talks about how to overload the opposition in different areas of the pitch, how to
Yeah.
be more than them. If there are five somewhere, can we be six there so that they will not be able to handle us? If there are three, can we be four? So against Barrow, we had five at the back. We faced a five at the back team. So we now played like six attackers. So Mujik on the left, um, who was on the KDH was left half space. Then Felix was kind of central, like very central, just behind the striker.
Behind Nkunku.
Nkunku. If you
Yeah.
Yeah, just behind Nkunku. Then Nkunku there is in front of Felix. Then Gusto now started acting as the right 10 with Neto, just underneath Neto. So that's why we now made it six so that we can be able to overload the fight of Barrow there. And the midfield too as well. We face a team and midfield. The diamond on his own helps to the diamond has four, so the diamond on his own helps to overload. So the thing about the point is just that if you want to play one of them, you have to the whole team has to compensate in structure to be able to match anybody being inside the team or out.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just talk about two more players now. Talking about inverting fullbacks. I know Cucurella has been doing it very well. Vega, I think Vega is more of even a midfielder than a fullback. So he's been doing that fairly decently. But one question I wanted to
Yeah.
ask, do you think we are losing anything in terms of the additional width that the fullback would usually have given us? Because last season we saw Malagusto always overlapping, but now having him
Yeah.
inverting, do you think we are losing that additional width? or you think with the wingers we're having high and wide, that's sufficient width?
Okay, that's this is also a good question because um Gusto got like I think 6 assists or so in Premier League last season.
Yeah,
So
eight something. Yeah,
even in preseason, everybody was worried that when they saw Gusto playing as the in the pivot that would Gusto have the same assists as he did? Will he be able to put in crosses into the box? Even the same for his James that was stifling his crossing ability to put him in the pivot.
yeah,
So it still depends on the game. Like yesterday, we saw Gusto in the crossing position. Like we saw him rotate with Neto. Neto came inside, gave that back heel for Gusto. Gusto now came out, just went outside. That's like a rotation. They rotated their positions in that moment.
yeah.
Then Gusto was not able to put in the cross. So that would be the best bet for them, and to depend on the game. We have not seen Gusto. I wish Gusto played against. Like we even saw it against Man City. Gusto actually played wide, like he played like he normally did last season. So like Maresca said, we've played different ways in different games this season. Against Wolves, Gusto also inverted. Gusto inverted into midfield normally, like a midfielder inverted. So it depends on the game. So, but the width of the wingers, and the best teams in the world actually provide width with wingers. Maybe you can have fullbacks just making that late run for them when they cut inside and all of that. But initially the width, under Tuchel, there's something I used to say that Tuchel's system was actually the same of 3-2-5, right? Three
Mhm.
defenders, two midfielders, and five attackers, which the wing backs will form when they go forward, right?
Yeah, the
Chilwell and
wingers were
James were
more
there.
like
Mhm.
sorry, the wing backs were more like wingers than
Exactly.
wing back.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. So that's what we had there. But the thing is that it helps defensively because those wing backs are defensive minded players first. So they'll be able to help defensively and they were helping offensively. But the thing is that when you now put those wing backs on the ball, when they are 1v1, they are not 1v1 players. So they will not be able to take on their man. They will not be able to try and dribble. James
Hmm.
does it at times, but Chilwell is not a 1v1 player. He will not get past his man if he's facing any other defender
Yeah,
1v1. So that I saw it then since then, and when I saw it, I said that this is a major difference because once you face teams that put five at the back, even at times six at the back, you need a 1v1 player. You need someone that can take on players to make a difference because dribblers, they upset any defensive block because once you put a block there and the dribbler takes two people out of it, that's all, or even takes one, he just needs to take one, put in a cross and score. If you remember Sterling and Gundogan's winner, where Sterling took on his man 2 seasons ago when Man City won the league. Yeah,
hmm,
that Gundogan scored that goal. Just Sterling that just took one guy out from 1v1 dribbling. So that's just the thing. And so I prefer wingers actually keeping the width because they're the difference makers and they're the ones that should they're the ones that take the most risks especially in this Maresca system. It's a bit of the same from Pep. Like as much as if you notice Doku too, Doku is one of the most he takes the most risks at City too as well because he's the 1v1 winger, the dribbler. So he expects the coach creates space for the winger to just face one man usually so that he can be able to and trust the winger to beat that man to try and create a chance and upset the block. So that's the thing. One v one wingers, good ones, they make difference in the team. If you notice, if you see Vinicius too as well, if you see your Saka and Martinelli at Arsenal, Martinelli has not been in the form he needs to be, but that's just his role too as well. Then here, Sancho and Noni, Modric and Neto as well. So that's the function of. So once you have those players, the thing that can help those fullbacks is that when they cut in, when those players try to dribble and they dribble inside, they have the support of either the tens. The tens can now make that underlapping run for them. Then maybe one of sometimes I've seen it at times. Even Gusto has done it with when he played in the midfield, when he played in the pivot, when he inverted into the pivot. When Noni cuts in, Gusto can now make that run outside of him to be able to get those return balls to be able to cross. So it will happen in games where we really dominate and try to pin opposition back, and that's where we are not yet. So you won't see it much. We're not yet there to, especially off the ball, because for you to be able to pin anything back, when they lose the ball, you should be able to win it back immediately. That means counter press. When they lose it, you should be able to collect that ball immediately. If you have that ball for most of the time inside their half, then you can be able to see more rotations, more runs, everybody trying to make different runs because that means the team is sitting back. And when they're sitting back, you need movement to be able to open up anything that is sitting
Yeah.
back against you. So yeah, you'll see it later on in the season. I bet. I saw it with Leicester. And sometimes they don't even need to make that run, they can make a half space cross from deep. Let's say none is wide and it doesn't the winger the fullback is facing or they have doubled up on him. When they have doubled up on him, he just usually the wingers pass back, yeah, because there are two players against him. So when they pass back, who is there in that small gap in that 10 position where the rest are in the box? It can be Gusto, it can be Vega itself at the left side. So in that moment, they can now have that small space to just put in crosses. Do you notice that Man City do it? Even Aston do it a lot. That that small they pass back, then immediately they put in that half space cross. Then in the box, a lot of players can be inside the box to
Just
win that
attack the cross.
header. Yeah, yes, attack the cross and put it inside. So
Yeah.
that's how we'll see it. And this is, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Before we wrap up, I'll just ask you about two areas on the pitch for you to pick who you rather want to fill those areas, and you can give your reasons why. And then there's one player I've been critical of that player. I don't know what your thoughts are about him. Maybe I'm being too harsh, harsh on him. I wonder what you think about him. So, and that guy is Benoit Badger. What do you think about him? If I give my own thoughts, what do you think about Badger? Do you think he still has a future in the team? What do you think about him overall? Shin, are you there? Shin is like he's okay. It's like Shimon having issues with his network. So I'll just go on and so for me, I think Badger, I think he's he's an okay player, but I don't think he's good enough for the team. I don't think he's good enough. I just think maybe in January he should leave because he doesn't look assured on the ball. He doesn't look confident on the ball, and he takes too long on the ball to get that ball out. So that's my own thoughts on Benoit Badiashile. So that's why I feel he should leave. In my opinion, and maybe go back to the French league and rebuild his confidence there. And then talking about the winger positions, the two winger positions, who would you rather have? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section and drop your thoughts and opinions on who you'd rather have as the wingers for the right and the left wing. Now, for me, on the right, I'll go with Noni Madueke because I think of all the wingers, he's the one that's really understood what Enzo Maresca wants from his wingers. And he has the ability to. Okay, Sean is back.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I needed to share the link that he
Okay,
gave me. Yeah,
okay,
I just put it on my page quickly so that at least a lot of people
okay,
can catch up with final parts of the show.
okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, so I was talking about Badger Shield. So what are your thoughts on Badger Shield? You must have heard a bit about what I think about him, but what are your thoughts on Badger Shield? Do you think he has a future at Chelsea, or should he have a future at Chelsea?
The form of COVID is not making it easy for Badiashile. It's not making, because we all know how COVID has started the season, really
Hmm.
struggling. But Badiashile is a very interesting player, because the form he showed when he came first, the at Chelsea, January 2023, or is it 2022, that he was in imperious form. Like, he was very good every game. You could see how good he was, how calm he was defending, how at times he could be aggressive, but mostly how calm he is in the right situations. Past his line breaking passes. We even still saw it yesterday night still, but
Yeah.
his injury just really didn't. He stopped his progress at that point in time. He made him to start from scratch and pick up his fitness and all of that. So there's something about players coming back from long-term injury that I used to say. I try to preach patience as much as possible, because I remember Rudiger when he came back from a long-term injury under Lampard.
Hmm.
He was erratic. He was as erratic as anyone could be. He was even more erratic than before he went to injury under Conte. Under Conte was really good in that system and all of that. He's erratic at times. That's his game, but it was more erratic. And the structure of Lampard's defense didn't help at times, um, and the team was not so good in defensively. But that's another um, that's something for another day, because
Hmm.
the XG told us we're third best defense in the league that year. So, but that's another debate for another day. But that's the thing. Rudiger now came into his own like the next season. Lampard able starting that season. I remember that 2021 season. Lampard was not picking him. On at times, Lampard just then started to pick him at the end of before he left. Remember when Tuchel came in? Just before Tuchel came in, Lampard started maybe trusting Rudiger more, and you could see Rudiger was even better putting better performances, even though Chelsea were losing. Rudiger was putting in good performances, and that shows that a player needs time to get back himself after an injury, and that's the thing. Same thing I've been saying about Badishu. At a point last season too, he was getting better performances. That's close to the end. Remember, like the 5 games we won, he started getting better. At least he still has his mistakes, and understand that, because I think it's mostly mentality of, okay, the shock of coming back to play regular games, and you see that, oh, I'm not actually at the level I was. Yeah, firstly, you have to come back to terms that, oh, you're not there. You have to get back to yourself. So Badishu had a lot of time struggling to get back to what he was, and he's still at that process. But I think he should be coming out soon. At least Cole's performances now can help him ease himself into it, which is that he might not get starting place for some time, but he will still have enough game time in the conference league games, in cup games, and he can be able to get some league games as well. So he can use that to solidify himself, get himself back. He shouldn't just look to start immediately and continue to look for games consecutively to start. Get yourself back, get consistent performances, and uh, at the end of the day, we need like 4 center backs to be able to work a functioning European team. So I don't think there should be any panic of should we sell him, should we not yet, except he wants to go. Like sometimes players can just be like, "Yeah, okay, I want to go." I think I'm at that point now. But I don't think Bashile can say is at that point now that, oh, I'm good enough yet to start. So I want to go and start somewhere else. So, but it's very possible we see that, but I don't think we'll see that anytime soon. Not this season anyway.
Well, so I guess you're being fair to Badishil. For me, I'm
What
like
what do you think?
for me, I'm like Badishil. he should go because he always looks scared on the ball. That's one. And the center back, that's one thing you don't want to you don't want to give an attacker that feeling that you're
Yeah.
terrified. And then secondly, the amount of time he wants on the ball is shocking. I don't know, maybe it's the
Mhm.
injury, he's trying, like you say, he's trying to get back to swing of things. But even yesterday, you see sometimes the way he'll trap the ball, he'll be on the ball almost like he's still processing what he's about to do or what he should do. And then when the opposition striker, is really close, then he'll just pass the ball. So, so for me, I feel by the Shield, he's a decent defender, and he really thrives when he plays with an experienced defender. When he plays an
Mm.
experienced centre back by his side, probably the centre back tells him, "Stay here, keep your feet this way, don't go, don't press now." So, and I think he really shone when Thiago Silva was by his side. But for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
he's still very shaky for me. And I want to suggest this. This may be people may say, "Oh, you're Nigerian, you Nigerian ways. You want to suggest a Nigerian player, maybe."
Mhm.
But there's this defender I saw. He plays for Slavia Prague. Once I saw
Okay.
this guy, I said, "Chelsea, this is your chance to redeem what you've done with Rudiger. The way you've let Rudiger go, this is your chance at redemption." And that player is Igor Ogbu, play for Slavia Prague.
Yeah,
International.
Igor. Igor.
That is, yeah, IGOH.
OR. Okay,
Yeah,
Igor.
IGOH
IGO.
OGBU.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Just check him out. Once you see him, you instantly know that this guy is a Rudiger caliber of player. Maybe not playing at a top club, but you see his intensity, his pace, his switch of play. He has everything, to fit into this Maresca system. I know with this system, you're playing a high line. Teams
Yeah.
sometimes want to sit back, counter attack, play the ball in behind you. I need fast defenders like Cole. And if you have this guy as well, they'll be able to actually track back. And sometimes when Maresca wants to do this thing where he wants to play with four center backs, or at least play with three center backs, with having one playing at fullback, this guy I think can be competent enough. Definitely not play as a fullback would, but be competent enough
Yeah.
to play that role very, very well. Just check him out if you've not checked him out already. He's a phenomenal player, and that's one player that I've been trying to say Super Eagles. There's another show I usually have, the Niger football show. Maybe you come on that as well. You know, this is a player that they
Yeah.
should try to get in to the national team. And then for Chelsea, this is a player that if they get, it will solve a lot of issues, and in the centre back position. And then the last bit I wanted to ask your opinion on
Oh,
is
sorry. I'm so
yeah,
sorry, bro. I wanted to ask a question of
yeah, go on, go on.
whether is it left-footed, and is he how old is he as well?
He's right-footed. He is 26. He's 25, 26.
Okay, okay. Oh wow, 26. Okay, so like
Yeah,
right-footed. Okay,
yeah,
okay, all right, no problem. Because I wanted to just ask because if in case you want to, if in case he was to replace a left-footed player like Badeshu, I think the club are now religious in their placement of centre backs more
okay.
than in previous years. If you notice, like in previous years, I don't think we had this. I don't think we saw a right-footed defender. I mean, left-footed defender at
Hmm.
Chelsea for years, for years during even our title-winning seasons. But now, because of um, the possession style of play and all of that, everybody wants the right players in the right angles and all of that. So that's why if they want to get a defender to replace Badishu, I would suspect they will prefer a left-footed
A left-footed
defender
centre
in
back.
that sense. But I will
Yeah,
check him out because
that's a fair point. Check him
yeah,
out, and the moment you see him, you just know that this is a different level of centre back, and you wonder why guys at NFF, like I said, that's another topic, but why the guys at NFF haven't looked at getting him to play for Super Eagles.
yeah,
That's for one. And then I think if they want to go, because for me, I feel you can have two left-footed centre backs play well, but if you want to be strict and religious on it, right? maybe he comes in for Disasi because Disasi is, while I think he's more competent, but the style of play as Maresca wants to play, he's too slow to play it.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
opinion in that regard. Now, this for the two winger roles, who would be your pick to play to be the starting winger? For both the left wing and the right wing. Who would you pick out of I think the four wingers we have? Who would you pick? 4 or 5 wingers. Who would you pick to be the starting wingers for either side?
Okay, so um, my opinion of one of the ringers is very, very well known in the sense that if I say his name, it will trigger a lot of people because because they'll be like, why you're already his fan and all that. So, but I'll tell you why I'm choosing them. And
Okay.
if you really think, if you think, try to think about it, it will make sense. I hope it
Salami.
makes sense.
Salami.
But
Who are you attacking? Attacking Madrid already. Okay, sorry, go on.
yeah, so on the left, I'll start with the left then. So
Okay.
it will depend on many games, but as well, because let's say you want more pace, you
Mm-hmm.
want more counter-attacking pace, you choose Mudrik or Neto more than you choose Sancho. But Sancho can start most games at least because he has played in a more counter attacking system at times in Dortmund. His first spell at Dortmund and maybe in his last spell too as well. He knows how to play those kind of roles too as well. He's very good on the counter attack. So I'll still start Sancho because Sancho is Santos has so much knowledge of the game. You can see it in his play. If you put the right tools and players around him, he can thrive. And we're not even seeing this is not a fully fit Sancho as well. So Sancho is it's not just new signing. Okay, because he's a new signing. Because
Yeah.
when he was a new signing at Chelsea, nobody really wants. Everybody was like, "Why are we signing him?" And that shows how fast Chelsea fans can switch up on any player at the club.
Mm-hmm.
If you
True.
start well, if you do well, you're the savior. You're the player that will save Chelsea. If you don't, if they don't believe in you, see how Palmer was before Palmer actually came onto the pitch. Everybody was like, "Who is this? Like, who's this? Would he? Why are we getting Palmer? Why are we getting a
Yeah.
Man City
Getting me player from Man
reject
City
or
and all
something?"
that.
A Pep reject. That's the one that was that was the one that like if Pep is throwing away a player, that means he's useless or something like that. So um, that's the thing about Chelsea fans. So, but for me, I have been consistent with the fact that Sancho will add a lot for us. Before he will add a lot, and I was like that sense. So, but I'll start Sancho definitely on the left. Then on the right,
Okay.
and there's one more thing I want to say about Sancho is
Mm-hmm.
and what Maresca wants from his Sancho is good 1v1. Yes, that's what Maresca wants from Williams. And Sancho is underrated defensively. He is very underrated defensively. I'll tell you why. Because Sancho actually tracks his man 80 to 90% of his time on the time. Because when he's fullback, if you noticed Wan Bissaka trying to is it Wan Bissaka, yeah, trying to move forward or anything, Sancho is there. Sancho is not jogging. He's not walking when he's meant to follow his fullback.
Mm-hmm.
Sancho is always there. Even when they came on against Bournemouth, I highlighted the fact that when his fullback that is tracking pushed forward, Sancho ran back. Like he was there, he was actively following his fullback. And that's what he's good at. The thing about Sancho that you might not seem defensively aware is that when he tracks his fullback to the point that he's there with them. So, but sometimes he might not fully engage. He's not like right in your face trying to collect the ball. No, that's not what Sancho does. He's just there. Okay, I'm following you. I'm there with you. I'm providing an extra body for you to try and get past. But I won't fully try to engage you. I won't. But he can do that at times. But he's not actively trying to do that. He's just trying to get into shape for the team and help the team. So if you notice, Maresca even praises defensive work more than attacking work for the attackers. If you notice these days, He's
Mm-hmm.
praising it because the little ones you do helps the team, helps provide balance for the team. It's very, very necessary. And so that's what takes me to the right side of
Okay.
me picking Noni, obviously, because Neto can do the same work to a good level, but Noni has improved his defensive work to the point that he's apart from tracking his runners, he's tracking his runners into the box, like into the box. There's one chance in the second half that Kudus, I think the one that Cole really cleared high and all of that. He really put one good clearance. Like when he was trying to, someone said that I think it was Alex Goldberg. I said, oh, he was trying to praise the person that made it hard for Kudus to put that ball in, and he wanted to praise the Sassi, but he was like, oh wait, that is actually Noni that tried to stop that cross, and that was like the byline. Like that was really the byline, like that a fullback is meant to be. But Noni was there because Noni has learned the importance of defensive work. So that is very, very key for him to start. And that's why he's starting. That's why he played 90 minutes. People were like, okay, he was a bit poor. And why is he not off the pitch now? But that's why he played 90 minutes because he's giving the coach what he wants off the ball. Then on the ball, Noni has improved if you notice last season, Noni could get the ball and in any position of the pitch, and he could just easily lose it at times. You
Mm-hmm.
get maybe his first touch is bad, his he looks a bit lackadaisical on the ball at times. But in possession against West Ham in the last game, even this season as well, when he receives the ball, he's more secure on the ball. If you notice, he's
Mm-hmm.
more secure. He gets the ball, holds it, and lays it back to the person that is meant to receive it. The time in second half that when he received the ball, he immediately switched it to Cowell, and it kind of solved the possession problem. Like they were pressing them at that point in time, so that switch to Cowell just relieved all the pressure that the team had at that point in time. Then when he receives the ball at times, he just receives it. He just has this cute layoffs. He did it to Felix at like two times. That when he receives the ball, he just laid off the ball to Felix really cutely, like very deft. All these deft touches that quickly relieves pressure. He has learned how to keep possession much better on our He has learned how to be better keeping possession of the ball and all of that. And he's for me the best 1v1 player at the team. When you put him against a fullback, he's most likely going to pass that fullback. And that's his strength. That's his greatest strength, obviously. Then he actively tries to shoot. That's now the bone of contention. You know the talk of Nani being selfish and all of that. He tries to shoot more than the average winger in that sense. That
Mm-hmm.
once he's trying to get shots off, and we need that. If we look at us as a team, even till now, we don't shoot too much. You notice that we do not shoot much as a team. Jackson doesn't take much shots. Only Palmer that takes shots mostly. And for you to try and do that, you have to take ownership of the ball. You have to be like, I want to make things happen. I want to Noni has that mentality of I want to make things happen. I want to and
Yeah.
people in the background they be like putting him down, like, dude, you're not the best player in the team, so don't even try that. You get so
Always
but
pass
Noni is
the
like,
ball. Always pass the
yeah,
ball.
like yeah, yes, they always pass the ball. Don't and I hate that mentality because it just makes you feel like, oh, you have to always pass the ball to the best player. And yeah, but the best player is like my best friend I've played with like for 9 years, 8 to 9 years. So who is
Yeah.
this guy? Like I can do as I have the ability, I can do things too. And that's what Nani is. Someone that modeled this game after Ronaldo. So he's more
Yeah.
of an attacking. I'll shoot the ball more than I'll pass. So sometimes it comes to the detriment of his decision making, and that's what he can improve on. Not saying that you should always shoot, but you should know when to shoot, know when to pass. But at times you need that. Sometimes you might shoot. Even Palmer does it at times. You notice at times Palmer could pass, but he just shoots because I want to take the initiative here. So that's what Nani has to. But since it's not on Palmer's level, people could get people could take offense of him doing it more than Palmer could. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
against Wolves, as much as he passed to Noni 3 times. There's one chance I remember. I don't know maybe I put up the video one time. There's one chance that Noni was as free as, like, I would say freer than the other times he got the ball from Palmer. He could have also passed the ball Palmer, but he took it on himself, and he missed the chance, but he took it on himself. But there was no pick from nobody. I've only seen few people that said, "Oh, Palmer should pass here," when he should have passed there. Like, but it's Palmer, so he's cold and all that. So he's my guy
yeah,
too as well.
it's Cole Palmer.
Palmer, yeah, it's cool. Palmer does what he does. That's who he is. So we're just taking that. But that's the reason why I'm choosing him. And
Okay.
Neto is also a good player on the ball, and he's more of a assist kind of winger. That he gives more assists. His crossing is top. His cutbacks are top. He knows how to make those good decisions in crossing and cutting it back. So, but
Yeah,
not Neto doesn't take too much shots as well. So that's another thing. And his defensive work, um, I don't know. We're not seeing Neto much on the right for now. We're not seeing too much on the right. So we can't tell in Premier League games. But it seems Maresca prefers Noni for all of the things I've mentioned so far
yeah,
over Neto. But yeah, you have to be aware of your place in the team. If you drop levels, someone can come in and take your place. So I'm sure that's what Maresca is preaching as well.
yeah. So for me, I agree with you, but there are certain that I have different reasons for having some of the wingers in a different sort of ranking. For me, the right wing rather is Jadon Sancho because
Oh, that's a good interesting take
yeah,
there.
the right wing, the key starter on the right, no, the right wing, sorry, the left wing rather, Jadon Sancho, the left wing, Jadon
Okay,
Sancho for
yeah.
me. He's the starter there. There's no argument about it. He's the starter. And then you have maybe your Pedro Neto behind, maybe you have your Mudrik behind him. Because there's one thing Sancho has that no other winger has, not even Madueke has, which is he controls his winger with the way he traps the ball. The ball is always almost like it's glued to his feet. So the moment he traps the ball like
Yeah.
that way, the fullback is confused. Do I go forward and try to stop him? And if you rush
Stop him,
Sancho,
yeah.
you probably find yourself with a mouthful of grass in your mouth. You know, so
Yeah, yeah.
he always has them confused, and he's skillful on the ball. He can take on his winger, turn his winger inside. I mean, I say winger, his fullback, turn his fullback inside out. And create opportunities. And then he does that defensive shift as well. So for me, he'll be the one to start. And then for Mudrik, I think Mudrik can be useful in big games. Now, this may seem a bit odd. He might be useful in big games. If you're playing against a side like Arsenal, except they decide to play this their defensive, overly defensive football that they decide to
Yeah.
adopt in the last few games. But if they play their normal football, Mudrik can be helpful on the wings. Same thing with Pedro Neto, because those guys are just jet engines. You put the ball, they
Yeah.
are gone. No one can catch them. So if you play a high line, you're buried because they'll surely getting behind. So
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho for me on the right, on the left wing. Then when we're talking about then we're talking about the left wing now, the right wing now. Sorry, I'll be going with Nani Madueke, Chuku Nonso Madueke is what I'm going for because from day one, from the moment Enzo Maresca stepped in as Chelsea coach, he was the first winger that understood their assignment. You know, he
Yep.
understood the assignment
Yep.
completely. He understood what Enzo Maresca wanted from his midfield, from his wingers, which is be high and wide.
Yeah.
Then, when you have that isolation with your fullback, take him on. Either you take him on, put in a cross into the box, or take a shot. Just how
Yeah.
Mavididi, used to do at Leicester
Hey,
when Enzo Maresca was at
Togo,
Leicester.
you are speaking my
What
language.
he did to
You
Gusto,
watched them.
what he did to Gusto, step over, through Gusto to wherever Gusto went to, and then scored that goal at Stamford Bridge.
Put
So
yes,
Noni Madueke
exactly.
understands that part. Yeah, he was the first one before while other people were struggling to understand what Enzo Maresca wanted. He got that. And then Noni Madueke, he doesn't only have pace, he has power. So it's very difficult for you to knock him off the ball.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what he does with that is sometimes when the team is being pressed hard, he's the one person that can get that ball from the defense and run the length of the pitch and drag the whole team forward.
yeah,
He did it against Bournemouth.
yeah,
Because people don't understand. People say Noni Madueke struggle, Winger struggle. People don't understand how Bournemouth are pressing that game. They'll
yeah.
wait for the winger
But
to
much,
have his back to them. And when the ball comes in, they are smashed at his back. They don't let you turn.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Noni got the ball, ran up, and then brought the ball, and then was fouled. Then there was a time he also
yeah.
created a chance for Jackson, but Jackson took too much time on the ball, and then he couldn't convert. So for me, Noni Madueke, Ange and Sancho, Noni on the right, Sancho on the left. Then Pedro Neto, why I have him behind Madueke? I don't even really like him as a right winger. I prefer
Mm.
him as a orthodox left
That's
winger. You know,
yeah.
if you have maybe if January, fingers crossed, you get a Victor Osimhen or something,
Ooh,
he
okay.
would be
That kind of
so useful because, like I say, jet fuel football. I'll pace his fullback ball into the box. I'll pace his fullback
ball
ball
into
into
the
the
box.
box. And that alone can give you, if you're a good striker, that can give you 10 goals alone, just being in the box and receiving those crosses. So for me, because if you even look at Maresca sort of, I know for the media he said, oh, I have two left wingers,
Yeah,
those are Sancho and Modric. I have two right wingers, um, Pedro
yeah.
Neto and Noni Madueke. But in the actual sense, if
Mm.
you look at it, he's rarely played Pedro Neto at left wing. I think it's only this Barrow game he played him
Yeah,
at
I
right
think that.
wing. He's always
Yeah,
played him at left wing because he knows he can just fly past any fullback, and then that's the way he creates. So I think for me, when you're playing those big games and you know this team they're going to dominate the ball, especially you're playing like a Man City, because despite how Chelsea have grown so far under Maresca, Man City are still Man City at this point.
I
You
still
know,
best. Yeah,
so if they dominate the ball, play high, play their high line, then you can use Mudrik, you can use um,
Neto.
Neto to hurt them. But where Neto would struggle is that Noni Madueke is still has speed as well. Still, he's still pacey as well, very very pacey. It's Sancho that he's pacey, but he's not absolutely electric. So
Yeah,
it's more of his skill on the ball. He gets it, and you can't get the ball off him. That
yeah.
boy is just he's just a crazy person. The way he dribbles, like one thing he did to one West Ham defender, the West Ham defender, I don't know where he was going. He went back, went forward, and then almost threw his head
His
somewhere
footwork,
else. You know,
his footwork is top. Sancho,
his footwork is just something else. So for me, those are my two choices, for the right and left wing. So but we're coming close to the end um of the show, of this first episode of the Chelsea show. And on this channel there are different shows that come on. So the Nigeria football show, talk about everything about Nigeria football, the players who are doing who are performing the best so far, Nigerian football, players that can be invited to join the national team, and also reacting to the various international games, AFCON qualifier, World Cup qualifiers, and hopefully when the AFCON starts itself. So I'm sure if you want to be part of the panel on any of those shows, it would be nice as well. If any person wants to join as well, could also join. So Shane, I want to say thank you for joining today's show. It was nice having this discussion with you. Hopefully, you join me again on another discussion on the channel.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you
Okay.
for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Hope to
Thank
be on
you.
future shows.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And
so much.
I can say that I also I enjoy the questions, and you also have a lot of knowledge of the game, so it's very easy to discuss with you as well. Um, Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
So I'll be really honored to have you on again. And there's another show as well coming on the channel. It's Next Gen Ninja. I've done one already. If you've
Hmm.
not seen it, you go check it out. I featured on that one. I talked about Arehi Parabo. So that show essentially is to talk about new emerging talents that are eligible to play for Nigeria. That either ones that have the single nationality of Nigeria, like Arehi Korabo and Hafiz that has gone to Stade Reims, or
Yeah,
Additional that has gone to Lille, and players who have dual nationality as well, like your Tyreek George, that's eligible to play for
yeah,
Nigeria and England. Just players who could be the next stars to play for Nigeria. And then there's the equivalent show called Next Gen Chelsea, looking at the emerging talents from Cobham that could, you know, somehow, some way
yeah.
make it to the Chelsea first team. So um, if you would like to be part of that, you can send me a message on tweet on X now, because
Yeah.
the next person I'll be talking about for the next gen Chelsea will be Alex Matos. Alex Matos.
Okay.
Yeah, because that guy I feel is someone that will be really, really useful in that central midfield role. So
Yeah.
we can talk about that offline through DMs. So thank you for everyone who's watched. Hope you smash the like button, share the video as well. And if you want to be part of a panel, you can send a message to follow Ugamadi Football on X, follow Ugo Stick as well on X, and on either one of them, you could send me a message, and then easily I'll send you the link, and we'll part of the discussions going forward. So as I say, thank you so much, Shenu. We'll catch you up afterwards, and look forward to seeing you on yet another show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.